welcome to Newsround, where we recap stories that made headlines during the week. Our top stories. Nigeria's electoral body, INEC, gets a new chairman as Professor Mahmood Yakubu bows out. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union protest federal government's continued failure to address long-standing demands. Revered Nigerian statesman Dr. Christopher Kolade dies at the age of 93. Israeli troops retreat to the Yellow Line following ceasefire agreement with Hamas. That's Newsround in view. And Newsround begins with the momentous transition at the helm of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as the chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, bowed out of office following the conclusion of his constitutionally limited two-term tenure. Yakubu's decade at the commission was defined by sweeping electoral reforms and stormy national debates. Under his watch, Nigeria saw the introduction of the BVAS technology and the INEC results viewing portal, bold innovations that promised greater transparency but also drew sharp criticism during the 2023 presidential election when technical glitches and alleged inconsistencies in results transmission ignited public outrage and legal battles. While his supporters hail him as the most reform-minded electoral umpire since 1999, his critics say the 2023 polls left a dent on INEC's credibility and public trust.
It started like the regular consultative meeting with resident electoral commissioners from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The business of the day, as contained in the agenda distributed, is to get an update on preparations for the forthcoming governorship election in Anambra State, the area council elections in the Federal Capital Territory, amongst others, and ongoing engagements by the Commission, such as the nationwide continuous voter registration.
As we are aware, there are a number of forthcoming elections. The preparations for some of them are either at advanced or concluding stages. The Anambra State governorship election is holding next month, followed by the area council election in the Federal Capital Territory in February 2026, the Ekiti State governorship election in June 2026, and the Osun governorship election in August 2026.
However, in a sudden twist, described by some of the resident electoral commissioners as an ambush, the INEC chairman announces his exit from office, though he has a few weeks to the end of his tenure.
Having been privileged to serve the commission for 10 years, with only a few more weeks to serve, I have taken a decision and conveyed same as provided by Section 306, subsections 1 and 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. In the interim, I am handing over to one of the most senior national commissioners by date of appointment. Following consultation with other national commissioners, Mrs. May Agbamuche Mbu will serve in acting capacity pending the appointment of a substantive chairman of the commission.
The formal paperwork is done as the outgoing chairman of the commission hands over to the most senior national commissioner, Mrs. May Agbamuche, in acting capacity. In In an emotionally packed remark, the acting national chairman accepts the new responsibility, promising to lead with professionalism.
I'm deeply humbled and honored. We assure you that the Commission will do our very best to maintain and uphold the standards you have set. We will continue from where you stopped. I pledge to uphold the integrity of the Commission and work with utmost professionalism, dedication, and in unity with the Honorable Commissioners, the RECs, the directors, all the staff of the country, of INEC nationwide.
Professor Mahmood then files out of the conference room along with the commissioners for farewell photographs as he bids farewell to the commissioners and staff of the commission whom he has worked with for the past 10 years.
Non-teaching staff in most universities under the aegis of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, staged a peaceful protest over unresolved demands with the government. In the northern parts of the country, the protest went ahead after a directive from the national bodies of the two organizations following the expiration of an ultimatum issued to the federal government. Members of SANU and NASU are demanding the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement with the federal government, immediate payment of 25% and 35% salary increment, among other things.
University workers under the auspices of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, are again on the streets protesting issues pertaining to their welfare. At the University of Abuja, the protesters blocked the Abuja-Lokoja highway for a moment before marching to the school gate, where they restated their demands.
Another area of agitation is 25% and 35% salary award that was given to us by government. It was not negotiated, and the arrears are still outstanding. We're asking you, please pay all this money. How much is the money? What can the money do in the market now? Nothing.
We have consistently made cases with government for the resolution of these issues. While we acknowledge the recent steps by the Federal Ministry of Education towards de-escalating the issues, we are not convinced that the efforts are sufficient to resolve the issues. What we are saying is that give us our own end, give us our own end, because we worked for it. Yes.
The protest is part of a nationwide action decided upon by the Joint Action Committee of SANU and NASU at the expiration of a 2-week ultimatum given to the federal government to address their demands, which are mainly welfare matters.
We don't agree.
Members of the associations from across campuses in northern Nigeria comply with the directives for a peaceful protest. At the University of Ilorin, the protesters call on the government and other stakeholders in the education sector to intervene and prevent the situation from descending into a full-blown industrial action.
We don't just declare strike anyhow, because we know the impact on students and the university community at large. And this is the more reason why we are holding this protest today. That is one of the last stages to go on strike. They should please come and intervene so that our students will remain on campus to do their learning and to also for the lecturers to do their research.
Solidarity, the people united.
From other campuses such as in Plateau, Adamawa and Kebbi states, the non-teaching staff of the universities also speak with one voice, demanding that the government honor its agreements with the unions and pay all outstanding salaries and arrears.
The SANU, or I can say SANU, NASU, or university, the unions that are non-academics, we are facing injustice whenever the federal government allocating some time or some cash or anything or any help to the federal government, it happened that we are taking the loss.
We therefore call on all stakeholders in our educational system to prevail on government to ensure that these demands are resolved without escalating to a full-fledged declaration of industrial action
in the university system.
In spite of a collective bargaining agreement with government in 2022, wherein it was agreed that 50 billion will be released for the payment of arrears of earned allowances. It was indeed disheartening that when the monies were released, only miserable 20% of the amount was allocated to the non-teaching unions.
On Tuesday, October 8, the Minister of Education had at a meeting with some stakeholders in the education sector where he appealed to the unions to shelve the protests and plans for an industrial action. He also gave the assurances of the government to address the matter.
We're pleading with the unions, both academic and non-academic unions at a tertiary institution, to be patient. This government were sincere, were truthful, we have full, genuine interest to resolve it. And we've shown you this over the last 24 months plus, that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken over the country. So please bear with us and be patient. We need to keep our children in school.
The protesters had earlier issued ultimatum to the federal government, which expired on October 6, 2025, after extending it by 2 weeks. According to the unions, the decision for a nationwide protest could be a prelude to more serious trouble in the university system if the issues are not addressed in the coming days.
And to the National Assembly now, the Senate has issued a 2-week ultimatum to the executive to submit a comprehensive documented progress report on the implementation of the 2024 budget, as well as projections for the 2025 budget, before it will entertain the medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, gave the declaration during a meeting with President Bola Tinubu's economic team, led by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, at the National Assembly.
On the last legislative day, lawmakers reconvene addressing one salient item on the order paper.
Concerned about the increasing circulation.
In a motion raised by Senator Ali Ndume, the critical subject of an alleged religious persecution in Nigeria is flagged.
Concerned about the increasing circulation, both domestically and internationally, of the narrative alleging an ongoing Christian genocide in Nigeria, amplified by some advocacy groups, foreign media and religious networks.
It's apparently one subject lawmakers are keen to tackle.
This has been brought to the fore of the Senate, and then we must have exhaustive deliberations in closed session on this, and then we must also come up with a strategy to correct the misinterpretation, the misinformation, and at the same time educate the international community. So we may not need to go into item by item on these prayers.
The 2024 and 2025 budget performance is another major subject matter the lawmakers are worried about, prompting them to invite the president's economic team to appear before it.
We're supposed to start preparing for the MTEP, medium-term expenditure framework. Supposed to have been here by now, if we are to go by the law. So the reason for calling for this meeting is to know the status. Where are we in 2024, 2025, and what is happening about the 2026 MTEF?
2024, effectively, given the commitments we have, is high performing potentially because it runs to the end of the year as mandated by you. And 2025 also we have committed to, and we have 2.5 months or so left. We are committed to also having a good performance under 2025 capital budget.
We'll go to closed session.
The meeting then dissolves into a closed-door session, after which the chairman emerges with the resolutions.
We will want documented evidences of the performance of 2024 and our expectations for the 2025 budget before we start talking about the MTEP for 2026. And the Honorable Minister of Finance have agreed to oblige us to give us that progress reports.
Meanwhile, the Senate also stepped down a bill for an act to repeal the Electoral Act 2022 and enact Electoral Bill 2025 to regulate the conduct of the federal, state and area councils in the Federal Capital Territory elections. The leadership adjourned early to attend a Council of State meeting at the Presidential Villa. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
When Newsround returns, Nigeria mourns passing of renowned statesman Dr. Christopher Kolade, who died at age 93. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. If we're to rebuild confidence in Nigeria's secondary education sector, we must begin by accepting that government cannot do it alone. This was the thrust of the presentation by Dr. John Momoh, guest speaker at the 170th Founders' Day lecture, with the theme, Bridging the Gap, Restoring Trust Between Schools, Government and Society, organized by the Baptist Academy Old Students Association as part of activities marking the milestone celebration of their alma mater.
It's an atmosphere of nostalgia and camaraderie as generations of alumni of Baptist Academy convene for the 170th Anniversary Founders' Day lecture, marking a truly epochal milestone. The hall is abuzz with gleeful reconnection and the recollection of cherished school anthems now etched in their history. The public lecture serves not only to laud a monumental legacy, but also as a crucial platform to deliberate on the future of education, leadership, and national development.
As we mark 170 years of truth and excellence, may we renew our collective resolve to uphold the ideals upon which this great institution was founded: faith in God, integrity, hard work, and service to humanity.
In his welcome address, the president of the Old Student Association articulates the significance of this historic Founders' Day gathering.
Our lecture today could not have come at a more auspicious time than now. In a world where the moral and social fabrics of education faces new challenges, this theme for today enables us to reflect deeply on how institutions like Baptist Academy can continue to serve as bridges.
While the old student come with vast experience to savor the moment, the current student infused the day with a contemporary energy, offering spoken words and a soothing musical flavor.
Harding, Stone, Duval, William, David, Vaughn, on these fields we clash, in unity we rise.
Chief Kessington Adebutu, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of BAUSA, in his message, charges the old student to contribute towards the school's greater, more prosperous future.
Fellow alumni, if we truly cherish the foundation that this school gave us, then we must rise now, not later, to preserve and strengthen it for the future generations.
The Founders' Day lecture, themed Bridging the Gap, Restoring Trust Between Schools, Government and Society, is delivered by Dr. John Momoh, the chairman and chief executive officer of Channels Media Group. He dissects some of the most pressing challenges that have battered the nation's education system.
So why does
bridging the gap matter. Across Nigeria, we sense a growing trust deficit. Parents doubt schools, fearing that their children are not getting the quality of values they once enjoyed. Schools, on their part, distrust government, worrying about unreliable funding, inconsistent policies, and delayed salaries. And society questions graduates, concerned that many leave school without the skills or ethics to strengthen the nation. In many schools, one teacher handles multiple subjects, often outside their area of training. Poor remuneration, delayed salaries, and limited professional development have drained morale and driven many away from the classrooms. And that's why teachers who remain in our classrooms today have to be celebrated.
He then moves to articulate a clear blueprint for the way forward.
If we are to build confidence in Nigeria's secondary education, we must begin by accepting that government alone cannot do it. This restoration of trust in our schools requires a partnership, a genuine social compact between government, educators, parents, alumni, and the private sector, all working together in concert to reclaim the purpose and prestige of learning.
For his contribution and impactful presentation, he is presented with a well-deserved accolade.
25. Congratulations.
So also is Chief Kessington Adebutu, for chairman of the Board of Trustees of Bausa. With the lecture concluded, the old students now eagerly anticipate the rich calendar of events lined up, which includes significant project commissioning, the annual prize-giving day, and a Thanksgiving and reunion dinner. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
Blessed Jesus.
This week, the nation mourned the passing of Dr. Christopher Kolade, a revered statesman, corporate titan, and distinguished Nigerian who died at the age of 93. His family confirmed his peaceful transition in a statement released on Thursday. Dr. Kolade's profound influence spanned decades and multiple sectors. He was a foundational figure in Nigerian media, where his career as a broadcaster saw him rise through the ranks to the esteemed position of Director General of the Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation. Beyond the airwaves, Dr. Kolade left an indelible mark on the corporate world, notably serving as the Chief Executive and Chairman of Cadbury Nigeria PLC.
Born on December 28, 1932, in Erioke, Osun State, Christopher Kolade's life was one of remarkable service, integrity, and humility. He was a son of an Anglican missionary and completed his secondary school education at Government College, Ibadan, after which he studied at the Furabe College, Freetown in Sierra Leone, where he laid the intellectual foundation that would later guide his career. Over the decades, Dr. Kolade wore many hats, which include broadcaster, public administrator, corporate leader, diplomat, academic, and mentor. In broadcasting, he rose to become Director General of the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation.
As a broadcaster, I started, as I said, in school broadcasting, teaching children by radio and then television. And when I was doing that, of course, the broadcasting station was being run by the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. So I was in the Ministry of Education doing this work in a broadcasting station. That was when the authorities of the Broadcasting Corporation thought that school broadcasting was going well, but they thought they wanted me to come and work in the corporation as a full-time broadcaster, not just for school broadcasting. So they invited me to consider applying for a job with them. And at first I thought, no, but eventually, when I applied for the job, they gave me the job. So I moved from school broadcasting into total broadcasting, and then went from being controller Western Region to director of programs, to director of television. And one day they called me on the phone and said, the government wants you to be director general. So it was like that. I thought that I was being moved along, really. I was doing what I thought was my best. And the results seemed to confirm that things were going well. But some of the promotions I had came to me as, well, I enjoyed promotion, but I didn't expect promotion.
In the private sector, he served as CEO and later chairman of Cadbury Nigeria, leading with both vision and character. He also represented Nigeria abroad, serving as High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, a role through which he elevated Nigeria's diplomatic presence. And after his diplomatic service, Dr. Kolade returned to Nigeria's academic and leadership circles. He taught at the Lagos Business School in area of corporate governance, leadership, and human resource management. He was widely respected not just for what he achieved, but for how he lived, with courtesy, decency, humility, and a deep sense of respect for people. Over the years, he was often referred to as Mr. Integrity, a title earned through consistent character. In his later years, even as physically frailty set in, Dr. Kolade never lost his devotion to mentoring younger generations and speaking on national issues. His hope for Nigeria remained undimmed. As we mourn the passing of this national treasure, let us not only lament a great loss, but also celebrate a life well lived. His journey is a testament to what it means to serve one's country with dignity, to lead without arrogance, and to be faithful to principles even when trends shift. May his legacy inspire future leaders to place integrity above convenience, service above self, and character above acclaim.
Today's discussion is not leadership in the abstract. It's not leadership only as a concept. It is leadership as it relates to our practice, our experience. So if you look at the principles that I have put in this paper, I've put 7 principles. But there is one basic principle that I want to remind all of us of. And that is that the leader himself is a member of the team.
May his amiable soul rest in peace. And that's where we anchor News Round this hour. Thank you for watching. Join us again, same time next week. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.